you kind of need as many balls as you used to have pacifiers for your kid, if your kid ever had pacifiers, and you need as many as now we need for our readers. Uh, you need like a pair in every room.
I think that is a really good analogy. And
Yeah.
I know I just had cataract surgery, so I have to have I'm
Oh,
forced into having readers now
yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
cataract surgery. And I bought like all of these because I'd heard you need to do that. So I bought boxes of
Yeah.
these stupid things from Amazon.
There you go. I know. These are the gifts that I give at like at parties to my
Is
friends.
readers? Is readers
I have the
or
cutest
balls?
pair. Yes, I'll have to send you the link. The cutest
Yes,
pair.
send me the
Okay.
link. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'll put my book up too.
Yeah. So
Great.
this is see, it's just
Okay.
product placement.
All right. That part, don't have my bottom on the, don't have my bottom showing. All right. We'll just tie
Okay.
this. All right. Okay. So
Okay. But I'm gonna launch this. I'm gonna make it professional.
great.
Hi. Okay. Okay. Let's get started. Okay. So I am interviewing Jill Miller, who is the author of Body by Breath, among other books, and also is the founder of these tune-up balls, which I was just saying you need a pair in every room, like you need readers over the age of 50, or if you're in your 30s, you need pacifiers for your kids, multiple. And these have been such a resource for me for many, many years, but I never knew that Jill Miller was the source of them. And there's so many other things to do with them. And then there's this new ball, the courageous ball, that we're going to learn about today. And when I asked Jill to be interviewed, she said, first, I want to take you through a little walkthrough or a move through of some of these tools that she sent to me, which I promptly lost and had to go get new ones because that's why we need a pair in every room. And so she's going to give us this little preview, and I'm airing it all for you. So you all get to see what Jill Miller did with me before the interview. And then I'm going to interview her all about Body by Breath and the incredible resource that we could use of our breath and our bodies to help regulate our nervous systems and be more open in our lives. So here we go. Jill Miller taking me through the tune-up method with some of her tune-up balls and some of the methods that are in her incredible book, beautiful book, Body by Breath.
Thank you, Diana. So I want to take you through, we're going to do a couple of protocols that are incredible for any time of day. And actually, they're really great for right before sleep, but they're also really great before something very stressful is going to happen. Like maybe you have to give a public speech, or maybe you're dealing with non-specific low back pain. There are so many different reasons to do the protocol that we're about to do. So the first one is called the lumbar hammock. It has a much more technical name, but I'm going to simplify it. We're going to create a little hammock across our lower back using the two Courgeous balls. So if you don't have these are soft inflated balls, and it's very important that whatever you're using is soft, but you can do this with two rolled up yoga mats. I found are a really good substitute because you want to have the grippiness that these have. And I'm going to show you where we're going to place them. First, we're going to do a very short breathing check-in before we do it, but I'm going to just show you where we're going to place them. So I've lifted up my top and lowered my shorts a bit. The two Courgeous balls or the two rolled up mats are going to go not together on your lower back, and they're not going to be going on your waist, but they're going just around the corner of your lower back onto a giant fascial seam here called the thoracolumbar aponeurosis. So just put your Courgeous balls next to you and let's recline. Rest on your back. And let your body weight merge with the floor. And feel yourself settle. Let gravity cradle you. And immediately upon the recline, you might notice there is a dramatic physiological shift within your body. And that's one of the gifts that getting low and taking advantage of gravity has on our body and our breath. Things just slow down. Or said differently, you can feel how fast you were going once you recline. And so you get to start to witness yourself transitioning from a sympathetic to a more parasympathetic state. And that's something we're going to be really interested in as we progress with this lumbar hammock. So witness yourself in this recline, and then I'm going to talk you through a little bit of a bolder breathing pattern. So start to breathe in a way that takes up more room in your body. Make your breath last longer and use your breath to expand both your gut and then your rib cage, followed by a slow exhale that you leak out through your nose. So we're engaging what I call the abdominal thoracic breath. You're going to breathe in a way that expands everything below the rib cage. The same breath transitions up into the ribs themselves and they balloon, followed by a slow motion exhale that drifts out through your nose. Slowly breathing so that the gut expands, the waist, the low back, even the pelvic floor. And then the same breath balloons the ribs without transitioning into the neck, shoulders, or jaw. We want to try to breathe below the rim of the neck here. Great. And then let's do one other very simple check-in. So this other check-in, this is a shoulder range of motion check-in. You know, bring your hands next to your hips and have your palms facing up. And then very slowly, almost as if your shoulders didn't belong to you, let them drift skyward and then let them fall up overhead back down to the ground. But please stop your shoulders once you hit a place where instead of the shoulders moving, your rib cage or your spine lifts off the floor. So we're looking for an end range of your actual shoulder motion right now. And it might be very different on the right side versus the left. And in body work, we call this an end feel. We're looking for an end feel of the range of your shoulder joint. So that could be that it's the soft tissue stretching or maybe even hurting. But like it hurts, that's a good place to stop. Or it's the bony tissue just kind of colliding with itself. And you're like, okay, well, that's as far as I can go without my ribs or my spine picking up the slack of the shoulder. So we're looking for a true shoulder range of motion right now. And then go ahead and bring your hands back down alongside you. My breath is home. So now let's take ourselves into this lumbar hammock. And to do this, you're going to bring the two cordless balls, as I showed you earlier. They're not going to be touching each other on your lower back. They're not on your waist, but they're just around the corner here. And how you set them up is in this reclined state. And so I'm going to talk you through what you should be looking to feel here. So we put the two cordless balls on either side of the waist, above the pelvis, below the ribs. And then once you lay down, here's what I want you to look for feeling. Is your sacrum, that's the bone between the two hemispheres of your pelvis, is your sacrum on the floor? It should be. It should be flat on the floor. If it's not, the balls are too close. Yep. Oh, and by the way, Diana, if you're comfortable with it, expose your skin to the grip of the ball. So maybe lift your shirt up a little bit more if you're comfortable with that. So the grip of the balls has an interaction, and we can talk about this when we podcast, but we want it to create some traction like a rubber Velcro. Okay, so the sacrum is on the floor. And then when we go up higher to where the balls are, it shouldn't feel like you're experiencing a back bend feeling. So not like you're in a cobra pose, but it should feel like it's hammocking or tractioning your low back from side to side. It's a widening effect rather than forcing you to experience a cobra or a wheel pose. And if you're like, well, I'm not sure if I'm experiencing a stretch across my low back, that's another good sign that you're probably doing it right. We just don't want to feel the stress of the back bend. So we have a broadening effect across the low back, which, by the way, is a very unusual experience. Typically, we don't, unless you're purchasing a four-handed massage at the Four Seasons, we don't usually have this feeling of lengthening from side to side. Often we just feel a lot of compressive pressure or bunching up there. And then if you go further north in your body, your ribs are resting on the floor, and then your head is also resting on the floor. So we have this suspension bridge across the lower back.
Jill,
Yeah.
if I'm feeling a little bit of discomfort in my lower back, is that okay?
So I would move the balls slightly further apart
Further
if there's
apart.
discomfort.
I think I'm not hammocking. I don't think I'm hammocking. I think I was backbending.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
wait. Okay, now
other,
I'm hammocking.
you
Wait,
should
that's
throw.
tremendously better. I'm
Okay, great.
hammocking. Yeah.
That it because
Okay.
it should feel like a
Yeah.
pleasant yet unfamiliar sensation, but it shouldn't
Yeah.
hurt. The other
Okay,
thing
that's
that I'll
better.
tell people to do is to deflate the Corgis balls a bit, because size and diameter matter, because that's an interaction with the bones too. And so for some people, maybe they've overinflated their balls, maybe they need just even less pressure from the air. So that sometimes it's another way to adjust for this. But now you have this opportunity to start to enlarge your breathing again, much as we did in our initial resting pose. Can you start to slowly breathe and let the movement of your breath reach in within your body towards the balls that are in contact with you from outside? And then when it's time to exhale, let your exhale reflexively happen. You don't need to do anything to help the exhale. It's going to just sweep out of your body automatically. So you're really just concentrating on taking slow, drinky inhales and then allowing a passive exhale. And so this gives a lot of internal insight into the movements of the muscles that control breathing. And the primary muscle of respiration is the respiratory diaphragm. Your diaphragm lives within your rib cage. It's a huge parachute-shaped muscle that lines the lower 6 ribs of your body. And when you inhale, your diaphragm descends. It moves downward. And as it moves downward, your belly, your low back, your waist, they distend. They naturally balloon. When you exhale, the opposite happens. Your diaphragm, it ascends, it flies back up into its rib home, and all the stuff that's connected to it below softens in. In this case, because we're laying on the ground, it kind of softens back towards your spine. So feel the unusual movements of your descending diaphragm on inhale and its relaxation on exhale. And one of the very cool thousands of facts about your diaphragm is that it is barely detectable by you. We as humans, we're not gifted with many sensory neurons within the diaphragm that give us an indication about where it is in our body at any given time. For example, I can say to you right now, describe the length of your left biceps. And you can bring your attention to the upper left shoulder and the left elbow, and you can probably say, oh, it's stretched out right now. But because you have these sensors, these mechanosensors within the bicep that communicate that to your brain, but your diaphragm is devoid of them. It has about 7 of these sensors, and they're located where the diaphragm is attached to the lumbar spine. You can't really tell where this big dome is inside your body. Well, unless you have the hiccups. If you have the hiccups, then we can often pick up on where the diaphragm is. That's when the diaphragm is going into spasm. So right now, as you're laying here breathing, you're becoming a diaphragm detective, and you're getting to sense the impact of its neighborhood. And you can feel it because you have the balls giving you that feedback. Now, one thing that is very interesting about the diaphragm also is that while you're laying here just breathing, you might notice that the right side feels a little different than the left side. You might notice that the reach of the right ribs into the ball is slightly different than the reach of the left ribs into the ball. And is that true for you, Diana?
Yes. Well, I have scoliosis, so my left side is ridiculously different from my right always. But I do feel my left side is collapsing into the ball, and my right side is not, like, doesn't have as much weight into it.
So it's really great information for me. So, um, in in that case, and if I were there, I would probably adjust the ball slightly differently also to try to prefer, um, a slightly different rotation for you here. So what when you can, I mean, without going into all the details of your rotation, um, you have less. Did you say you have less contact with the left side and there's more contact with the right?
Opposite, more contact with the left and not as much with the right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the rotation is a left rotation in
Hmm.
the thoracic spine.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing that what we can do when we work with our folks with scoliosis is we will alter placement and also adjust inflation. So the left ball, I would deflate it quite a bit much more for you, which would make it more comfortable. Or I'm seeing you pull it out just a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's do one additional movement here that might be interesting. When you inhale, can you create a little tiny arc in your back? We're going to do some pelvic rocks. So on inhale, you'll create a small back bend. And then on exhale, you'll do the opposite. You'll posteriorly tilt tuck your tush and let your spine drop between the balls. So on inhale, you create an arc and you'll lift the lower back slightly away from the floor. And then on exhale, you'll reverse that tuck and drop your spine towards the floor. And so now your pelvis will be rocking. You can inhale and slowly lift the lower back, which might have a ripple effect into the upper back and even into the neck. And then on exhale, you reverse it. So just creating a little bit of movement here. And what this movement does is it pivots this region of the lower back that's tethered by these two grippy rubber balls, and it starts to create even a more broadening stretch across the lower back. Now, one thing I didn't mention is the target here of the lumbar hammock is this gigantic fascial meeting place, this aponeurosis of all of your low back muscles, as well as your core muscles, the ones that are famous, like the transversus abdominis, the external obliques. You've got insertions with the latissimus dorsi, and some of your folks might be familiar with the quadratus lumborum and the psoas. So all of these tissues insert into the thoracolumbar aponeurosis. And so when we start to do the breathing and the rocking, we increase stretch on the different fiber angles that come together in this area. Okay, discontinue the rocking and now just pull out the balls. Pull them out and shift them aside and let your back rest and reset itself. My breath is home. Visit again that abdominal thoracic breath, the breath that shape changes you from below the ribs in the gut area and then brings that ballooning up into the ribs themselves. And just notice the texture and the shape of your breath from inside now. And if anything feels altered or interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like there's more space. It feels more settled, like somehow more grounded somehow. Like my sacrum somehow.
Mm.
Um, and then my breath feels more, mm, it's just lower. It feels like I can get into the lower part of my body more with that breath. Like I'm not up in the chest as much. Before I was consciously getting into that sort of what you call the zone one,
Yeah,
but
so
now it
you were having to
feels more
work
zone
to
one.
move it into zone
Yeah.
1, and now it's,
Yeah.
like, effortless.
It wants to be in zone one.
Yeah, and your voice
Yeah.
sounds a little deeper also.
Yes.
So then let's
And my sexy voice.
you're full on, I know, I'm just like, "Wow, talk to me,
I'm all
baby."
pelvis.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
then let's reach I that this is correct, this is a correct
Yes.
response. Okay, and then
Yes.
bring your hands next to your hips, and then,
Okay.
go ahead and slowly raise your shoulders up and overhead and notice if there's any range
No
change.
way. Magic. It's magic. What?
It's so crazy.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not
What?
magic. I mean, you could say it's
It
magic.
is.
That would be great. I'd probably be a billionaire if I were just selling magic to people, but it's actually many things. Your latissimus dorsi starts here on your shoulder and pointing to just below the armpit on the humerus, and it inserts all the way into the sacrum via this gigantic fascial sleeve of the thoracolumbar aponeurosis. And so just resting there with the Corgis balls where we did in the lumbar hammock creates a, a traction of the lat and every other muscle I named, by the way, so that sometimes our shoulder limitation isn't within our shoulder. Sometimes it's the way our core is carrying us. It's the way our spine and our pelvis are carrying us around, and it's influencing the ability for the anchor of the lats to really lengthen. And so you've just adjusted that on your own. But also,
Wow.
we were laying here and resting and breathing, and we're really changing some of our autonomic nervous system's behavior. We're entering more into a parasympathetic state, and that parasympathetic stimulation also changes the resting tone of muscles. So that will help your joints. We could have checked any joint really before, and you might have noticed a change. Okay, let's do one more thing. This one is like one that I love
I
to
just want
do.
to
I love
say
to do it
that
like
one,
everything
like
every day, but I don't have the time.
I
But
could,
this one creates
yeah.
immediate change in the neck and shoulder and upper back, and people just love it. So
Okay.
I call this trapezius tamer. And for this, you need a single cordless ball. You can do it with two, and then the two yoga tune-up balls. I've got my mismatch. I've got all mismatch balls today, but whatever. They're all coming from the same place. So the two yoga tune-up balls. I'm just going to pull my hair out of the way. Otherwise, the grip of the balls is going to pull out all my hair and yours too.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
the area of the upper back that everybody wants to have a back rub is usually right here, right where the bra strap overlay the backpack strap. It's where the upper trap crosses over a muscle called the levator scapula. We get a lot of different um, movements out of this area, but it's a lot of neck hanging over phone problems. So now the Corgis ball is going to come onto your sacrum. That was on the floor earlier, but now the Corgis ball is going to cover that bone. And I think, yeah, I'm right in camera here. And you'll place the yoga tune-up balls on either side of the shoulders. And this is really our start position. And then what I'll ask you to do ultimately is start to steer the shoulders around the balls. So you'll keep your body very heavy and address some of this gnarly stiffened fascia that is so common. Are you there? Yeah, there you are. Okay.
So it's like at my trapeze, like below my trapezius a little bit. Those tune-ups.
Yeah, so the yoga tune-up balls are going to go into the soft tissue just right over the crest of the shoulder. So there's a really
Yeah.
good bed of
Oh yeah.
muscle tissue here that's very
I wouldn't call
available
that
for
soft tissue on my body. Isn't that soft?
right. So let's go to
It's
the
hard
crispy
tissue.
tissue.
It's a rock
Or as my
called
friend
an
Tom Myers
author.
calls it, the
Yeah.
soft skeleton. Yeah, it's totally, I could feel that tissue hardening over the course of writing books also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's really, I mean, it's really a natural adaptation. The fascial tissues, part of what their job is to do is to take the burden off of the muscles. And so they're like, oh, if you're going to hold me in this position, I'm just going to add more collagen here and stiffen up, to make this sort of soft skeleton more firm so that the muscles don't have to do all this work, but the connective tissue can do the maintenance. But you don't want that, like, because that can lead to this whole other ripple effect from the neck down. And so we do want to have good elastic tissue here and not have it turn into um, calcified threads.
Okay.
So here you are.
So, mhm.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. I have them. They're kind of in the general spot, and then is my sacrum on the floor here too? Because I have this
No, no,
courageous
it's on
ball,
the
and they're
forge's
not.
ball. So you have,
Okay,
maybe that
my
wasn't
sacrum's on the
visible.
courageous ball.
Yeah, so the cortice ball acts like a caster, and it's a distractor. And so your body's gonna be getting feedback from this, which is gonna allow the yoga tune-up balls to maybe have a better perch, a better chance of delivering scrubbing and pressure into these muscles.
Okay, scrubbing the
Okay,
muscles.
so you've
There's a
got,
good scrubbing.
and if that's awkward, you can take the second ball. I mean, you've got two gorgeous balls. You can have them both there for even more support. That might work for you. I just tried doing
Yeah,
that
you
as
lift your
well.
hips, and that is intense on the shoulders. Woohoo!
Yeah. Once your hips can rest on the
Yeah,
gorgeous
that
balls,
feels good. 2 balls feels good.
I
I like
agree.
that.
I
Yeah.
agree. And then now it's really roller's choice. You get to describe how the balls maneuver around this upper shoulder area just by squirming a little bit here and there and breathing into this zone. So in the Body by Breath book, and I'm sure we'll talk about that, this area here up by the neck and shoulder, I call this zone 3, and we use these tissues in case of emergency for breathing. They're not a sustainable strategy to breathe in your head, face, neck, and shoulders all day, every day, but we do need them in case of emergency. But unfortunately, these tissues get really overused and thickening occurs because of tech life. So take your shoulders, Diana, and let yourself move the arms around a little bit and see if that's you can make that work for you in a comfortable way.
So I'm kinda doing some slow squirm, playing around, finding spots and, like, kinda hanging out in them? Or
Yes. So
yeah?
you can do these slow motion movements. You can stop and stall where you feel like, ah, this would be productive to stay here and rest
Yeah.
and breathe and help this tissue elongate. Or you can try to do slow motion, zigzags, up, downs, side to sides in any of those areas that feel particularly tender or like they're calling for more attention. There's also movements that you can make, Diana, of your head and neck. So you can roll your head from side to side. If moving the shoulders feels like, oh my gosh, that's just too much, just by pivoting your head and neck, we will affect the length and tension within the upper traps. And also, you're going to be adjusting pressures within the vasculature on the side of your neck. Um, you're already doing a lot of really interesting things just by being slightly upside down here. Your pelvis is higher than your heart, which is higher than your head. So just the position that you're in is affecting the way blood flow is interacting with your brain. And we can deconstruct that a little bit more when we talk critically, but you're slowing down your breath pace and heart rate involuntarily here. Just by being in this position, we start to enter into a vagal dominant state just by the physical position that you're in. And so this can be very beneficial for your parasympathetic nervous system.
If there's a spot that's like,
Mhm.
whoa, that is all of my stressful parenting is located in my right upper shoulder.
You found it.
Pain. Um, my teenager is learning how to drive, so you can imagine the amount that's in this upper left shoulder as I'm watching him hold the wheel. Um, do I stay? Do I? Because this is what's cool. Is like I can find my spot when I go to masseuse. I'm like, you're warm, you're warm, you're hot, you're hot. You missed it, so I can find it. Is it good to stay in it? Is it good to move in it? Like what's I've
So,
heard
I
different
mean,
things from different people. Yeah.
so it really is up to you
Okay.
regarding your ability to tolerate the discomfort, right? So
Yeah.
we're not here to try to um, annoy these tissues. And sometimes when
Okay.
you find an area that has so much congestion and detritus in it, it's intolerable. And so
Yeah.
we never want to try to force an intolerable um, sensation, but we want to approach it, befriend it, ask it questions, maybe perimeter it. So in the details are there's so many details to respond to what you said, but it's important that whatever we're doing doesn't ignite a sympathetic response, and a sympathetic
Yeah.
response would be your eyes freeze open, your whole body goes into a bracing response, you're unable to breathe. So we're looking for a tolerable level of discomfort that feels productive.
Yeah, because what
That
I
makes sense?
noticed when I noticed when I hit that spot, all of a sudden I was squeezing my ass. And so
Yeah.
I was like responding by like lifting my bottom off of the gorgeous balls instead of staying in the supported position. And I like that word, permitting it, welcoming it, approaching it. And this is a lot like our emotions. We do this too, right? So, um, got it. So I'm
Yeah. I mean,
noticing when I'm going in sympathetic and like that's probably the boundary that I've crossed and I need to back off a little bit.
exactly. And it's just more information. And we welcome all the body's responses. And I am ever interested in, how the body speaks back. Um, to the conscious mind or the unconscious mind or to your butt. It's like, it's not even talking to your head. It's like, it's talking to your butt and saying, defend, protect, right? So these are all just such interesting, conversations. And it's our body's way of coping um, to survive the threat of your son driving and losing, you losing all control of your kid. So I can really relate to what you said there. And I call also some of these spots, I'll call them like bully spots. They're like, I'll handle it for everything else. Like, I'll take care of it. I'll take over. And they really need nurturing. They really need time and query, and sometimes they're not ready to share what they're going to share, but it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm going to just come at you with my little softball, and when you're ready to talk, I'm here. And in the meantime, I'm going to go downstairs to the ribs. I'm going to go to your pecs. I'm going to, so it's not always, we don't always have to blast these spots. And anyway, it's just such a great conversation. I don't want to make you overthink while you're in your tissue right now.
Mm. I'm in my tissue. This tissue is yeah, it's been calling for me to give it some attention and I can tell it through my I can tell throughout my day it's there. I mean, I have a lot of interoceptive awareness at this point, but but there's a difference between being able to tell it's there, calling my attention, and actually giving it the time. And that's the thing about what you're doing right now. This is like giving it some time. And I was still looking forward to this with you this morning because I was like, I can't wait to do this part. And then we'll do our interview with this part because I need this in my life. It was just 5, 10, 20 minutes on a wall. Yeah.
And it can
Breathing.
be so simple. And I see from what I'm seeing, you really like the stillness, and that's magica. Um, and then then make a little micro move and find a new place to be still, or let your jaw unclench and continue to witness. And so part of the parasympathetic programming that Body by Breath propagates, to use another P, is looking for these unconscious little thickets, these little sticky points, burrs inside of our fascial tissues, inside of our myofascial structures that are that have accumulated, and then bringing them, giving them permission to speak from the body to the brain, and welcoming however they wish to communicate, whether that's story, whether that's emotion, whether that's more stonewalling, whatever it is. Like, it's a big, long dialogue.
Stonewalling. That's like a Gottman's. You know that's the four horsemen in a relationship. One of them is stonewalling. In a
Yes.
relationship, you stonewall. It's like a relationship with my trapezius, the back of my shoulder, is stonewalling me. I love that.
Well, it has to carry the contents of everything you observe. I mean, your traps are there to orient your brain, to orient you to the world, right? To be able to focus and to see and to witness. So they're really, talk about some horsemen. I mean, they are the reins.
Okay, Jill.
All right, Mama.
I'm
So go
aware
ahead
of
and
our need to do our interview. Yeah.
just go ahead and dismount the balls and rest again on your back, as we did in the beginning. My breath is home. And notice your posture at rest now. And bring in again one of those extended full body breaths, those abdominal thoracic breaths. And then one final time, bring your hands next to your hips, and you'll drift your shoulders up overhead to check your shoulder range. Find out if connecting with the trapezius made a difference in your shoulder range of motion.
Yeah. It made a difference in pain.
Great.
For sure. Yeah.
That's great.
Now I just feel the tightness I feel is in my bicep, which I should probably do something around that, but like it's not in the shoulder anymore.
Well,
Before
isn't
it was
that
in the shoulder.
wonderful?
Yeah. So now I
So
figured out the
maybe
next place
it's
I need to go.
right. Maybe it's like your elbow
Yeah.
grease that's been the thing, and that
Yeah.
your trap is masquerading for all the wise effort of writing books,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, God. Raising children. Yes. All of it.
Yay!
Wow. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, we're going to talk about all of this now in our in our interview.